I, 30F, been married to my husband 34M for 6 years, and he has twins, a boy and a girl, and they're 16 now. When we started dating and got married, we went to family therapy, and I made it clear that I was not trying to be their mother or replace their mother. Their mother hasn't been in their life since they were about 8. Things have been great with us these past 6 years. They even started calling me mom when they were around 12 or 13. Recently, their biological mother came back into their lives, and they were really excited. Things were great for about 6 months, and then they started to call me by my real name. That hurt, but it's what they chose to do, and I never questioned it. Recently, they've been getting very disrespectful. They don't follow the curfew rules, they're not cleaning up after themselves, they're talking back to me, telling me I'm not their real mom, that I'm the reason she left, which is not true. I didn't meet him until almost a year and a half after she left, and that now that she's back, they don't need me anymore. 3 weeks ago, there was a big blow-up where my stepson called me a bitch. I took his phone and told him to go to his room until his dad came back, but instead he ran out and went to his mom's. She came over, and it was a big argument. She tried to hit me, and I pushed her out of my house. My stepdaughter told me if I ever put my hands on her mom again, then she'd kick my ass. They both went to their mom's place. After that, I haven't been very active. I usually take them to sports and activities. I don't wake them up for school, so they've been late a few times. I tell them to have their mom wake them up and take them. We were supposed to go to Disney World for their spring break this week, but I canceled everything. I told them and my husband, and I guess they thought I was bluffing. We were supposed to leave Thursday night, and when I didn't start the usual vacation roundup, they were shocked. They started saying I was jealous that their mom came back into their lives, that I'm a horrible person, that I'm selfish, that there was some name-calling, and that my husband was silent. I asked him if he was going to step in, and he said I was wrong for canceling. I left and went to stay in a hotel. He has been blowing my phone up, asking me to come back, and yesterday he told me that their mother disappeared again, and they've been calling me crying and apologizing. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't feel like I'm part of their family, and they can't just cry and come back now that she disappeared. I told my husband that I want a divorce, and I'll be back over this week to get my things, but we have nothing to talk about. Yes, I know their mother was manipulating them. I never said otherwise. Yes, they are 16. That doesn't give them the right to treat me this way. Being 16 doesn't mean you get to be disrespectful and threaten me. I have always been in their corner. I know their feelings matter in this, but I am also a person with feelings. I am not only considering or moving forward with this divorce based on how the children acted, it is also that my husband did not back me up in this. If I can't count on him to help me navigate this tough situation that we were all going through, then why should I stay? That does not mean that I should be treated the way I was being treated. That is not normal 16-year-old behavior to threaten me. Call me vile names. I just need time for myself. And I don't want an apology just because their biological mother ran out on them again. I want an apology because they really mean it, and I don't believe anyone can be truly sorry 2 days after their mother vanished again. I would never just abandon them, but I do need time for myself because my feelings were disregarded. Yes, I am an adult, but I still have feelings that hurt and need time for myself. I never asked for or expected them to be perfect. I never expected them to be the most mature people, but I am allowed to be hurt and take time for myself during all of this. They have feelings, and so do I. I love them very much, they are my children, but this is a very complicated situation. This is not because they called me a bitch. I've been called worse, I'm a woman. This is ultimately about my husband not backing me up during this situation, and yes, I am hurt that they told me that I'm allowed to be. It hurts even worse coming from 2 people who I love dearly and would never hurt or want any harm to come to them.
My wife intentionally got pregnant when I didn't want more kids. I'm going to divorce her. My wife, 43F, and I, 46 meters, have been married 10 years, and have 3 boys. Our lives are very busy with work, kids, extended family, house projects, etc. I love my wife immensely, and long to have emotional and physical intimacy, even just kisses, hugs, hand-holding, whatever, with her. However, for most of our marriage she has been completely focused on the kids, so we really only have a co-parent/roommate relationship. Of course, I understand this. The kids have to be top priority. But for the last 8 years or so, if there's not a kid in our bed at night, then my wife is in a kid's bed with them. I try to get them to sleep in their own beds, and encourage her to sleep with me alone, but it's rarely successful. I've made it very clear to her that I do not want any more kids. I'm more than ready to get our relationship back on track now that the youngest is school age. I'm also exhausted and overwhelmed all the time with everything on my plate. I can't and don't want to add another kid to the mix. She, on the other hand, longs for a 4th baby. We've gone back and forth so much, but I am adamant that we should just enjoy the 3 we have. My wife is on birth control and has always made it a point to have an alarm set so she takes it at the same time every day. She is still trying to work on me to get me to agree to another baby, so I can't schedule a vasectomy yet. She brings it up at least once a day. Well, she told me a few days ago that she's pregnant. She's so happy, and I'm devastated. She won't even consider termination. I love my wife so much. She's a great person. And I know in the end I'll love this baby. But now there's no end in sight to this overwhelmed, exhausted, emotionally lonely life. Also, I'm realizing that these last few months she's actually initiated sex several times, which never happens. I can't help thinking that she got pregnant on purpose. She wanted it so much, she wasn't going to just give up. It would be in character, I suppose, for her to just do what she wants. I hate to say it, but she does disregard my feelings on things quite often. And she knew there's nothing I could do about it. Would I be the asshole if I told her I want a divorce? My kids are my life, and I don't want to leave them at all. But I feel like our marriage is not going to get any better. I've asked her to go to marriage counseling several times over the years, but she refuses every time, saying we don't need it. And now I've kind of lost trust in her. It would break my heart to do this to the kids, and I don't know if my feelings are worth doing it over. Please tell me if I'd be the asshole here. Edit. To be clear, if we divorce, I will push, as hard as necessary, for 50-50 parenting time and joint custody for all the kids. They are my number one priority in life. I just don't know if my lack of emotional fulfillment in our relationship, my wife's general disregard for my feelings, and the other marriage issues are worth tearing the kids' worlds apart. Edit number 2, because everyone is saying it, I didn't wear condoms because we never have, and if I suddenly started she'd have accused me of not trusting her or become suspicious. And if I'd have just gone and gotten a vasectomy, she definitely would have been angry and felt betrayed. I was trusting her.
My friend lost her unborn baby, and she needs to move on. My 23F friend, 23F, had a miscarriage in late February. For the sake of anonymity, I'll call her Sarah. Sarah was 8 months pregnant, and I know it was really hard for her. I have really tried to be empathetic about the situation. I went to the funeral, have listened to her vent and cry and all of that, and have been there for her this whole time. She still is crying quite a lot, and our friend group has been trying to get her to come out more and do things she used to like so she's not just sitting around sad all day. We convinced her to come out to dinner with us to try and have a good time. At the dinner, there was a family with a new baby in a car seat. Sarah noticed them and just started quietly crying. We tried to cheer her up, and she did stop crying after a few minutes. I asked her if she maybe wanted to freshen up and we could talk, and we went to the bathroom. In the bathroom, I told her that we love her but it's time for her to move on from this, she can't always cry all the time, that we want her to be happy again. I suggested she and her husband could try again for another baby. I told her she hasn't even met the baby before, so this loss shouldn't mean all that much. All of this seemed to make her really upset and she walked out. We finished dinner but she didn't talk to me at all. After dinner all our friends started texting me and calling me an asshole for what I said, but I just think it's important to be upfront with your friends, and I'd want to know if I was being a little too much for people too. I love Sarah and I care about her. I'm not so sure I did the right thing. Ida? How can you be so sad if you haven't met the baby before? I slapped my husband after he confessed to cheating on me. I, 24F, came home after a long day at work. My husband, 32M, had made us dinner, which he rarely does. After dinner, he even cleaned up and did the dishes. I was surprised since this isn't something he usually does without me having to ask. I jokingly asked if something was up and he hesitated before answering. He confessed to cheating on me with a coworker. I was completely shocked, it felt like my world shattered into a million pieces. I asked him how long it had been going on, he said it had been a couple months. They'd been seeing each other on and off. And as if things couldn't get any worse, he added that she might be pregnant. That's when I lost it. My whole world was spinning and I suddenly felt this rage come over me. I slapped him across the face and called him every name in the book. Things that I dare not to say on here. I told him to take his stuff and get out of the house. He left and has been staying at his parents' house. His mother has been blowing up my phone, asking me to talk things out with her son. Telling me how wrong it was for me to slap him and how heartbroken her son is over the situation. I haven't responded yet since I haven't been able to gather my thoughts yet. This whole situation just feels surreal to me. I can't believe the man I planned to spend the rest of my life with betrayed me like this. Was I wrong for how I reacted? Ida?